Cycling in London is slowly becoming the new driving. Commuters are being encouraged to use Transport for London's cycle hire scheme or their own bikes for their daily commute. But with more cyclists on the road comes more chance of accidents, and heavy goods vehicles are proving particularly dangerous.
Well, nationally they account for about a fifth of all cyclist fatalities. In London it's more than a half. So a very substantial proportion of the cycle fatality problem in London is down to HGVs.
The number of cyclists has been rising since 2007, but a lack of continued investment in safety means other road users are still a significant danger.
A tailing off in the improvement in cycle safety that had been going on in London over the past 10 years. Over those 10 years, 150% increase in cycling on London's main roads, 21% reduction in the numbers of fatal and serious injuries. And then suddenly it seems to have waned in the last 2 or 3 years for no obvious reason.
Accidents involving cyclists rose for another consecutive year in 2011, while other road accidents declined. In all, 16 cyclists died in London. 9 of them were killed by heavy goods vehicles. Ghost bikes now mark the spots where some of these cyclists have been killed, but this is not the only legacy an accident leaves. The impacts on family and friends are felt for a long time. Cynthia Barlow of Road Peace helps those affected, having been through a tragedy of her own.
My daughter was killed in 2000 while she was cycling to work, killed by a left-turning lorry. The driver was acquitted because the prosecution was completely incompetent. The inquest was likewise.
Cynthia says Road Peace, who help bereave families of those killed by vehicles, still receive a large number of calls about accidents involving bikes and lorries, some of which are all too familiar.
I received a phone call from the Road Peace office saying that the helpline had received a call from someone who'd been hit by a concrete mixer. She told her story, the shivers ran down my spine. She had been knocked over by a driver making the same manoeuvre at the same place, at the same time. It was an exact replica of what had happened to my daughter.
Steps are now being taken to try and make the streets a safer place to cycle. Along with new technology on HGVs, like sensors and cameras, cycle awareness training is being offered to lorry drivers to help them understand what it is like to be a cyclist.
So CPC training, the aim of that is to minimise risk in interactions between drivers and cyclists. We get drivers to experience what it's like to be on a bicycle. Once they get on a bike and they feel what it's like to be on a road with a dodgy surface, maybe with a lorry behind them, the sound of that lorry, they get it, and you often turn people around through this 3.5 hour session.
This is James Walker reporting for BBC London.